Dick Durbin just reminded America that history is repeating itself, and this time it's the farmers paying the price. Trump's chaotic trade wars and corporate favoritism aren't just policies, they're betrayals. Here's why Durbin says the administration has declared war on America's farmers.
And now turn to Senator Durbin.
Thanks, Senator Grassley. We are of different political faith, but we are friends, and we have many issues in common, particularly as they relate to agriculture. I concede, reluctantly, but concede that Iowa is the #1 producer of corn among states, and add quickly, Illinois is first in soybeans. We have one category where I think we are comfortably ahead of Iowa, and I want to note it this week, and that's in the area of pumpkins. So we are proud of that fact. I thank you for this hearing. I think we need to take a look at the overall state of the farm economy as we address this particular challenge today. More than 50 years ago in 1973, the U.S. economy was in turmoil. Inflation and the cost of living were up, food prices were high, and American families were angry. At the same time, there was a global shortage of livestock feed, causing the price of soybeans to spike. President Nixon, in an effort to stem inflation, stopped all U.S. soybean exports, including those headed to Japan, then our biggest customer. This interruption lasted about 3 months, but for Japan, it was the last straw. The Japanese wanted a more reliable soybean supplier, so they found a handful of small soybean farms in Brazil and started investing. Today, Brazil is the second largest soybean producer in the world and the biggest competitor to Illinois soybean farmers. All it took was one presidential misstep and 3 months of trade uncertainty. 3 months. Sadly, President Trump is not a student of history. His tariffs on China, even as they change from one week to the next, are bad news for Illinois farmers and good news for Brazilian farmers, who've seen their sales of soybeans to China increase by $2 billion this year. Tariffs are also good news for Argentina, which has sold $708 million more in soybeans to China this year. Yet President Trump is propping up Argentina's government with a $40 billion lifeline when American farmers are struggling to stay in business. The president is in Asia for trade discussions with China. I hope that they will be positive. But China is now investing heavily in South American farming, even building megaports there to manage massive shipments of soybeans, corn, and sugar. It is a replay of what we saw with Japan and Brazil in the 1970s. And China is playing the long game at the expense of American farmers. Illinois farmers are concerned about the increasing cost of doing business, especially the cost of seed, fertilizer, and equipment. One problem is that there are just a few big companies in these sectors where market concentration reduces competition. The committee has examined these dynamics in other parts of the food industry, such as meat packing and groceries. It's a complex issue, which is why I joined Chairman Grassley back in April to question why the Department of Justice planned to close its Chicago field office that specializes in agriculture antitrust issues. The administration has not provided a response. Farmers need policy certainty from Washington, but these past 10 months, that's not what we've given them. The chairman and I co-sponsor a bill to allow for year-round E15 ethanol sales. It almost passed Congress until Donald Trump and Elon Musk stopped it and opposed the bill. Farmers also face severe workforce shortages. 70% of farm workers in the United States are foreign-born. But the way this administration targeted immigrant farm workers is another sign of how this administration values farmers. USDA has forced out more than 15,000 employees since January, and farmers are seeing widespread delay in services as a result. My farmers, all farmers, need help. But no amount of financial relief can replace lost markets, especially if relief payments simply go from farmers straight to the handful of seed, fertilizer, and equipment companies. Big companies say their size helps them compete and survive while providing consumers with a consistent, reliable product. Farmers disagree. Saying feed, seed, and fertilizer are not affordable come with strict contracts and requirements that prevent farmers from exploring the alternatives. pressure tactics that keep farmers trapped as customers, and zero transparency on how personal farming data gets collected and sent to who knows where for who knows what. This month, the Nobel Prize for Economics was awarded to 3 economists who believe that economic growth happens when conditions exist that allow new innovation and technology to rise up to replace old ones. Today's witnesses will report on whether that is actually happening. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Senator Dick Durbin just laid bare something too many Americans have forgotten. History repeats itself when leaders don't learn from it. What he said about Nixon in the 1970s isn't just an old story. It's a warning that's come full circle under Donald Trump. Back then, one rash decision, cutting off soybean exports to Japan, was all it took to lose the trust of a key trading partner. And what happened? Japan turned to Brazil, investing in small farms that, over the decades, grew into agricultural powerhouses. America's farmers lost their edge, their markets, and their future. Now here we are again, watching a replay, except this time it's not Japan, it's China. And it's not Nixon making short-sighted moves, it's Donald Trump. His erratic tariffs on China have devastated American farmers, driving them deeper into uncertainty while helping South America rise in the global food chain. This isn't just about soybeans. It's about the livelihoods of millions of working families who keep America's food supply alive. Farmers don't want bailouts. They want fair trade, stable policy, and leadership that understands how markets actually work. But instead, this administration has gutted agricultural jobs, driven away immigrant labor, and destabilized the very agencies that keep rural America functioning. Let's not forget the hypocrisy here. The Trump administration handed Argentina a $40 billion financial lifeline, while U.S. farmers can't even get a fair price for their crops. That's not America first, that's America forgotten. And when you add in how corporate consolidation has suffocated competition, just a few giant companies now control the prices of seed, fertilizer, and equipment, the small family farmer doesn't stand a chance. This system is designed to work against them. What Durbin is saying is something we all need to hear. Policy uncertainty is poison to agriculture. Farmers need consistency, not chaos. They need the confidence to plant, grow, and sell, not fear that a president's tweet could upend their market overnight. America's farmers are not asking for special treatment. They're asking for fairness, for a government that values them as much as it values Wall Street, for leadership that understands that food security is national security. And if we're being honest, this crisis didn't start and won't end with Trump alone. But it exposed the rot of an economy that rewards monopolies and punishes the people who feed us. So yes, Senator Durbin is right to call this out, because when farmers fail, America fails. And unless we have leaders who understand that, who are willing to invest in rural America, in fair trade, in transparent markets, we'll keep watching the same movie, just with different faces. This is about who we choose to stand with, billion-dollar corporations or the everyday Americans who rise before dawn to feed the world. If you believe in rebuilding American agriculture the right way, with fairness, stability, and respect for working people, then this message matters. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Left Lens for more straight, unfiltered political analysis that keeps power in check and truth in focus.